Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live. I don't know if my microphone's working. Oh, now you can hear me. Hi, Bones. Well, now that I know that my stuff is working, now we can get on with it. We're reading a book called Stung by Bethany Wiggins. Chapter 1. I don't remember going to sleep. All I remember is waking up here in a place as familiar as my own face. At least it should be. But there's a problem. The one screen carpet is gray, the classic music posters lining the walls are bleached. The brittle corners curling where the tracks are missing. My first place ribbons are pale blue instead of. I'll share it out after. Of royal. My sundresses are drained of color. In my bed, I sit on the edge of a bare, sun bleached mattress. A mattress covered with dirt and twigs and mouse trappings. I turn my head and the room swims, faded posters wavering and swirling against the grimy walls. My head fills with buzz and I try to remember when my room got so filthy. Since I vacuum and dust once a week. And why is the mattress bare when I change the sheets every Saturday? And where did my pillows go? My stomach growls and I push on the concave space beneath my ribs. Against the shirt, sweat plastered my skin. And try to remember the last time I ate. Easing off the bed, I stand on the rubbery legs. The carpet crunches beneath my feet, and I look down. I'm wearing shoes. I've been sleeping in shoes. Old lady white nurse shoes. Shoes that I never seen before. That I have no memory of pulling onto my feet and drying. And I'm standing in a sea of broken glass. It glitters against the filthy, faded carpet, and I can't remember what broke. A breeze stirs the stifling air, cooling my sweaty face and gauzy curtains that hide my bedroom window lift like tattered ghosts. Jagged remnants of the glass cling to the window frame, and certainty creeps into my brain, seeps into my bones. Something is wrong, really wrong. I need to find my mom. On legs barely able to hold my weight, I stumble across the room into the doorway. Sunlight streams through the bedroom windows on the west side of the house, lighting the dust in the hallway. I peer into the bits and strewn across the faded carpet, along with the Star Wars action figures he's collected since he was 4 years old. I leave his doorway and walk into the next door, to my older sister's room. College textbooks are on the floor. The page is torn and scattered over filthy carpet. The bed is gone, and the mirror above the bureau is shattered. Dazed, I walk through the sunlit dust. Down the hall, trailing my fingers along the painted peeling wall of the mom's room. Her room is just the other room. Faded, filthy, broken windows. Bare mattresses, no word I don't think about but forces myself to admit. Abandoned. No one lives here. No one has lived here for a long while. But I remember Dad tucking me in a few nights ago, into a clean bed with crisp sheets and a pink comforter, in a room with a brand new London Symphony Orchestra poster tacked to the wall. I remember Mom checking to see if I dusted the top of my dresser. I remember Lisa leaving before sunrise for school and Jonah's Star Wars music blaring through the house. But somehow, I am alone now, in a house where my family hasn't been really in a really long time. I run to the bathroom and slam the door behind me, hoping that a splash of icy hot water will clear my head and wake me to a different reality. A normal reality. I turn on the water and back away from the sink. It has dead bugs and rotting mouse in it, and nothing comes out of the rusted speckled faucet. Not a single drop of water. I brace my hands on the counter and try to remember when the water stopped working. Think, 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 I whisper, straining for the answers. Sweat trickles down my temple and I come up blank. In the cracked, dust-coated mirror, I see a reflection, and though the thought of being abandoned slips away, I'm not alone. After all, she is tall, with long, stringy hair, and gangly, like she just had a growth spurt. She looks like my older sister, Lisa. She is Lisa. And maybe she knows what's going on. Liz, I ask, my voice scratchy and dry. I turn around, but I'm alone. Turning back to the mirror, I carefully wipe away the dust with my hand. So does the reflection. My muddy eyes stare back from a hollow face, but it's not my face. I take a step away from the mirror and stare at the reflection, mesmerized and confused. I slide my hands over the contours of my lanky body, and so does the reflection. The reflection is mine. I stare at myself and my small breasts and curved hips. The last time I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't have them. I touched my cheek and my heart starts hammering again. Something mars the back of my hand, black, spiderish, wrong. I take a closer look. It's a tattoo, an oval with 10 legs, a mark. Conceal the mark, I whisper. The words leave my mouth without me even meaning to speak them, as if someone else put them on my tongue. Yet I know in my gut that I must obey them. I pull open the bathroom drawer and sigh with relief. Some of Liz's makeup is in it. Take a tube of flesh-colored stuff and open it. Oh, lost my spot. Oopsie. There we go. Concealer. What Liz used to use to cover her zits. I remember her putting it on the morning before she went to nursing classes at the University of Colorado. When I was 12 and I was wishing I were as old and as my big sister, I remember everything from back then. My sister, my parents, my twin brothers, Jonah. But I can't remember why I have a tattoo on my hand or why I have to hide it. I can't remember my body stopped looking 13 and started looking like a woman's. Outside the bathroom door, the stairs groan, a sound I remember well. It means somebody's coming upstairs. For a moment, I'm giddy with hope. Hope that my mom has come home. But then dread makes my heart speed up. Because what if it isn't my mom? I take a wide step around the spot where the floor squeaks and tiptoe to the door, opening it a crack. I peer through. A man is creeping up the stairs. He's wearing a tattered pair of cut-off shorts, but no shirt, and his hair is long and stringy around his face. Muscles bulge in his arms, flex on his bare chest, and swell on his long legs, and thick veins pulse under the tight, sun-tanned skin. Like an animal tracking prey, he leans down and puts his nose to the carpet. The muscles in his shoulders ripple and tense. His lips pull back from his teeth, and a guttural sound rumbles in his throat. In one swift movement, he leaps to his feet and sprints down the hall towards my bedroom, his bare feet thudding on the carpet. I have to get away, out of the house, before he finds me. I should run. Now, this very second. Instead, I freeze, press my back to the bathroom wall, and hold my breath, listening. The house grows quiet, and slowly I reach for the doorknob. My fingers touch the cool metal and ease open a hair wider. I peer out with one eye. The floor in the hall groans and my knees threaten to buckle. I'm now trapped in the bathroom. I grip the doorknob and slam the bathroom door and lock it, then yank the vanity drawer open so hard it breaks away from the cabinet. I need a weapon. My hand comes down on a metal nail file, and gripping it in my damp palm, I toss the drawer to the floor. The bathroom door shudders and I stare at it, wondering how long before the man breaks it down. Something crashes into the door, and a second time, I jump as the wood splinters, and I scramble backward, never taking my eyes from the door. Something hits the door a third time, shaking the entire house, and I turn to the window, my only hope of escape, because there's no way a nail file is going to stop the man who was beating down the door. The window groans and fights me, the catch slipping in my sweaty grasp. As the window grates upwards, the bathroom door implodes, a spray of splinters shooting against my back. I grip the narrow window frame just like I did as a kid and swing my feet through. My hips follow and then my shoulders. A hand thrust through the open window attached to a scraped, strained forearm. On the back of the hand is the twin of the symbol that marks me, an oval with 5 lines on each side. As I jump out the window, fingers slip over my neck, gouging into my cheek and clamp down on my long, tangled hair. Fire lines my scalp as the skin pulls taut against my skull. I hang my feet just above the balcony and flail, dangling by my hair. Somehow the man's grip slips on my hair and my shoes touch the balcony, and then with an unexpected release on my scalp, I'm free. I glance over my shoulder, the window frame, a face with smooth skin and hollow cheeks. A boy on the brink of manhood. He peels his lips back from his teeth and growls. I stare into his brown eyes, and for a moment it's like looking into a mirror, and I almost say his name, until I realize his eyes are wild and feral like an animal's. And when he grips the outside of the window and swings his feet through, I scramble up and onto the ledge of the balcony and jump. My spine contracts and my hips pop as I land on the trampoline my mother bought when I was 11 years old. But the blue safety pads are long gone, and I'm surprised the weathered black mat doesn't split beneath my feet as I bounce and come down a second time. Stabbing the black mat with my nail file and dragging it as far and as hard as I can, I jump over the exposed spring as my brother sails through the air behind me. The mat tears noisily beneath him, and he falls through it, like jumping into a shallow pond, and when he hits the ground I hear a snap and a grunt. I run to the fence and separate my house from the elementary school and dig my feet into the chain link diamonds, just like when I was a kid racing to the tardy bell. I clambered up and over the fence in a heartbeat. As I sprint across the empty schoolyard and past the silent rusted playground, I dare look over my shoulder. My brother is hobbling toward the fence, his ankle hanging at an odd angle to his leg. His eyes meet mine and he holds a hand up to me, a plea to come back. A sob tears at my chest, but I look away and keep running. Chapter 2. A scorching sun beats down from the turquoise skies, gleaming off the distant buildings in downtown Denver. Yet no leaves grow from the skeletal trees, no flowers bloom in pots in the front porches, no grass grows in the dead front yards. Even the Rocky Mountains looming the western horizon look brown and brittle. The only green in this world comes from brown-tinted pine trees. Those aren't as dead as everything else. I am in the world of winter, being burned beneath a summer sun. I stumble through a silent neighborhood. The houses' windows are shattered. Rusted cars sit atop flat tires in the driveways. My shadow stretches long over the cracked, litter-strewn pavements. I skirt around a faded, tipped garbage can and walk fast, because deep down I can sense that this is a bad place to be when the sun sets. My feet slow as I walk toward the telephone pole. The wire is like spaghetti twisted on the ground below it and tackled to the front of a piece of paper at odds with this trashed, forgotten neighborhood. The paper is a daffodil yellow, not sun-bleached or water-warped or wind-frayed. I take a closer look. Reward: 1 to 4 marks, 1 ounce of honey. 5 to 7 marks, 2 ounces of honey. 8 to 9 marks, 3 ounces of honey. And 10 marks will get you 8 ounces of honey. To claim reward, marked 1 must be alive. Payment made Sundays at Southgate or Northgate. No payment for dead body. Sincerely, Governor Jacob Sanchez. I walk past the daffodil yellow paper and round a corner in the deserted street. The dog barks, the first sound that I haven't made myself since leaving my house. More dogs join in, and my heart speeds up, a weak dehydrated fluttering against my ribs. 4 houses ahead, a window reflects evening sunlight, and the window is whole. Several dogs stand in the front yard below that window, teeth bared, saliva streaming dangling from their barking mouths, yanking against the chains that keep them from charging me. My steps slow and I glance at my right hand. The flesh-colored makeup still hides the tattoo. When I look back up, 4 men stand in the yard with dogs, and each man holds a gun pointed at me. M16 assault rifle. The name flitters into my confused brain. I can remember the day my dad taught me to shoot. The guys at the Buckley Air Force Base always saluted Dad, though he wheeled himself up to the platform in a wheelchair. His final badge of military duty, one he could never leave home without. "This your kid?" Guy asked, looking at me where I cowered behind the wheelchair. I stared up at the camouflaged clothes, his broad shoulders, and tried to imagine my dad dressed like that and standing tall. "Yeah, she's 11, Dad said. Figured it was time to teach her to shoot." The guy nodded approval but looked skeptical. "Never too young to start a mount. Just warn her about the recoil. We wouldn't want her leaving with a black eye." The rest of the time at the shooting range was a blur of guns, noise muffling, ear covers, and recoils that flung me backwards. But I remember the look in my dad's eyes at the end of the lesson, and the other men's eyes. Surprise. "With the finger control you're learning in piano, you'll be a sharpshooter in no time," Dad said, his hazel eyes glowing with pride. One by one, the M16s are lowered and the men study me. I take a tentative step forward, and all 4 guns point at me before I can flinch. I don't move. "Ellen, come here," one of the men calls. Staring at me through the scope of his gun, he seems to be the oldest of the 4. His hair is white, at least. The front door opens, and a thin, hard woman steps onto the front porch, edged with a shrub of skeletons. The white-haired man nods towards me. The woman puts her hands on her bony hips and squints. I've seen her before. She is the mother of one of my schoolmates. I used to play with at this house, and this woman was always baking. She used to be as soft, round as her cookies. She presses a hand on her heart. "Dear Lord Almighty, that's Fiona Tarsus. If she doesn't have the mark of the beast, let her pass." 3 of the 4 guns lower. "Hold up your hand," the white-haired man calls. I lift both my hands over my head, palms facing them, a sign of surrender. "No, Your right hand, he says, voice hard and mistrusting. Show me the back of your right hand. Of course, he wants to see my tattoo. I turn my right hand, palm facing me, tattoo facing him. Ellen sighs, the sound carrying down the quiet street. She's clean. The four guns is lowered, but none of the men relax. Get on past here, Fiona, the white-haired man calls. I nod and start jogging. As I pass the house, the dogs go ballistic, jerking against the chains, anchoring them in place. I stare into the front yard and study the men, but I was wrong about something. Only three are men. The fourth, the one who kept the M16 trained on me the longest, is Jackie, my oldest schoolmate. But there's something really wrong with her. She's on the verge of being an adult, and her thick brown hair is cut like a boy's, short as a soldier's. Get on by, the white-haired man warns. I stare straight ahead and jog as fast as my weary legs will carry me, which is not very fast. Just as I pass the edge of the property, a shadow appears beside me. I gasp and cover my head with my arms. Foe? Fiona? It's Jackie, the older, womanly version of her is spite of her boy hair. Her hands are in my hair, twisting it and shoving it down the back of my shirt. Cut your hair off, she says, eyes scared. She presses something into my hand and retreats into the front yard. I look at what she's given me and frown. A half-eaten snack pack of crackers. The sight of them makes my parched throat clamp shut, so I stuff them into my pocket. Movement catches my eye in the last rays of the setting sun. A child perched on the roof in Jackie's house, a gun in his small hands, his eyes darting all about. Behind a fence, Jackie's backyard, I can see the tops of corn stalks. Green corn stalks. In the midst of the corn stands Ellen's trailing a fine bristled brush over the feathery wisps that shoot out of the top of the corn, moving plant to plant methodically, in a deliberate manner, painting the corn. I look back up at the boy. He can't be more than 8 years old, but the way he holds the gun, he might as well have held it in the womb. He glares at me and aims in my direction. I turn and continue down the littered, deserted road. When I get far enough from Jackie's house that I can no longer see the boy, I stop. With the sun gone and the air fuses with the twilight and the darkness creeps in, and unsettling my nerves, giving me the impression that something hides in the shadows. Something teases my ears. I pause and survey the decrepit houses. Haunting the street, I peer into the black, glassless windows and feel as if somebody's watching me. I pray I'm imagining it. Shelter. I need to find shelter. I step over trash, over bleached human bones, over tree branches and tumbleweeds and empty plastic bottles strewn across the road. With every step, the approaching night grows darker, making it harder to see, harder to tell the difference between the trash and the road, harder to tell the difference between real and imagined. A dog barks behind me, and the desire to find shelter makes me frantic. I run, dodging trash and jumping over mangled car doors, and when I land, my knees buckle beneath my weight. I squat on my heels and rest my hands on my knees. Panting, I lick my peeling lips, but my tongue holds no moisture. I need water almost as much as I need air, more than I need shelter. Another dog joins the first, a distant barking that echoes down the road, driving me to action. I stand unsteadily and face the silent houses. There has to be water in one of them, maybe left in a toilet tank, or forgotten in a tea kettle, or caught in the coils of the garden hose. Ignoring the instincts that warned me to stay out of the house, I walk toward the closest one, staring at the gaping windows. I step up into the sidewalk and pause. My skin tightens as if something is watching me, like the darkness will devour me if I take another step. More dogs start barking. A gun explodes, echoing like thunder. I turn and look down the dark road towards Jackie's house, and the gun explodes again. Raised voices fill the night, mixed with a frantic barking. Someone screams a deep male scream, and the gun goes off again, and then there's nothing but the ringing in my ears. Something grabs my arm, and I'm yanked backwards, tripping over trash and the curb and my own feet. I scream, but my throat is too dry to muster up anything more than a croak. Shut up, someone snaps. The person dragging me to the middle of the street to the black ring of the old tire. The person, a short wisp of a human, a child, releases my arm and shoves the tire away. Beneath it sits barely a visible manhole. Metal echoes hollowing as the lid slides aside and the shadow launches itself into the hole in the road and disappears. I peer down into the blackness and cringe at the dead animal and raw sewage smell wafting up. A pale hand darts out of the opening and grabs my ankle. Hurry up and jump, or you'll be worse than dead, the child hisses, digging ragged nails into my skin. And then I hear a new sound. Footsteps. Lots. Pounding against the pavement faster than my frantic heart pounds against my chest. Getting closer. Fine, stay up there, freaking idiot. The manhole starts scraping back into place and the footsteps come closer. I peer down the road towards the sound of the footsteps and see a horde of shadows approaching. Big, broad-shouldered shapes silhouetted by starlight. I swallow, step, and plummet into darkness. Thank you, and I'll be back next week.